What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and if social media and Silicon Valley didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards whatsoever at all. Now, I kind of realized that I this channel maybe isn't the right place for kind of hardcore like political discussions. Um, I usually use Midwesty for that. I haven't been uploading there lately, but this video, I just want to talk about the obvious double standard that exists for people on the left. And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples of tweets and claims that are still live right now on Twitter. So Elon, tune in, buddy. You've got that lunatic Carlos Maza going at things again. We've got celebrities. We've got politicians outright calling for, well, impeachable things in some cases, and their tweets remain up. Meanwhile, I can't tweet jokes. My accounts are shadow banned. Most people's who aren't are shadow banned. Just look at the things that have been sent to Count Dankula as he's been kind of memeing on people. It's actually insane. Carlos Maza, of course, tweeting out, fascists literally don't care how hard you vote. They are not trying to win elections. Violence is the only language they understand, and it's time we start speaking it. Interesting. I suppose you could say, like, is that direct? Is that not direct? We're going to remind everybody exactly who Carlos Maza is, too, by the way, in just a few minutes. Just a quick Saturday favor. We're almost caught up in fulfillment over at Coffee Brand Coffee. Huge favor to ask. I'm not going to ask you to buy anything, but if you've received your tea, especially tea because it's a brand new product, or coffee or cocoa, or if you bought like the essential kit or you bought the t-shirt or whatever, please go back to the website, navigate. Let's say you bought the oolong, click on the oolong tea. You can see there's 5 reviews on there. Like, based on the amount we sold, we should have 50 at least. If you just scroll down, it'll let you write a review. Please include a picture. I would be eternally grateful. I'm already so thankful that so many people have bought from me. The reviews are killing it, but we need more. So if you got your coffee, tea, or cocoa, please do take a minute to leave a review this weekend. That would be I'd be really thankful. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, there are a lot of Hollywood people that have come out and shared their opinions on this particular legal decision or non-decision, really, depending on how you look at it. And they've got predictable kind of dog whistly stuff. You have Amy Schumer. Are you ready to fight back when Roe's overturned? Text this, whatever. That seems fine. That's fine, whatever. Chelsea Handler can't bother writing her own tweet, so she just takes a screenshot of somebody else. And of course, the predictable no justice, no peace that we heard as suburban towns burned to the ground. I mean, not suburban, but Midwest towns, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, many of these saying no justice, no peace. Meanwhile, sneakers were 100% off for old what's his name or whatever. You have a lot of these Hollywood elites, Bette Midler, they did it, and the gay people are next, blah, 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 blah. Patton Oswalt, they're fine to have these opinions. But what I want to point out is some of the most hilarious ones, like Alyssa Milano writing, banning this will disproportionately impact people of color, LGBTQ plus communities. Nah, actually, it won't affect disproportionately LGBTQ plus communities because they're not having babies. I suppose if you that parts of the community are, but to say it would disproportionately affect them is just verifiably incorrect. Those struggling to make ends meet, young people, and those living in rural areas. So everybody except for people in the cities. Again, I will say that the repeal of this does not change anything if your state's already where it's legal in your state. But what I find it particularly, curious is just all of the they have a word for the Democrats have a word for this. It's insurrection, I believe, We see Senator Kelly Townsend. We're currently being held hostage inside the Senate building due to members of the public trying to breach our security. We smell tear gas, and the children of one of the members are in the office sobbing with fear. I expect a J24 committee to be created immediately. Obviously, we know that won't happen. Again, you have every right to assemble. Whether or not I agree or disagree with whatever you're doing, you have every right to do so, and I will support that. When you start blocking traffic, when you start tearing into buildings, I mean, this is the same stuff they said for J6, right? It was the worst thing to happen in this country ever. Well, when you're walking on the freeway in downtown LA, blocking traffic with people that almost assuredly already agree with your position, you kind of show your whole rear, don't you? Here they're throwing fireworks at LAPD. These are not protesters. Correct. When you start doing that, that is not peacefully assembling, is it? It's the same kind of look. I think that, just like with the Summer of Love, the overwhelming majority of people who were gathering were peaceful, but it gives garbage people a reason to be garbage. And you see here a young woman gets maced. Okay, that's, curious. It does not seem peaceful whatsoever. And then we have all sorts of calls for bad behavior. We see Jack Montgomery. Twitter permanently banned a sitting United States president for allegedly glorifying bad behavior in the most oblique way possible. But these direct calls for this kind of stuff are fine. Will Elon Musk let such double standards sit if he takes over? We see Carlos Maza says, in Stardew Valley. This is like a meme that people say, like, oh, in Minecraft, I was just joking. This is like a little less, whatever. But you see Carlos saying, this is raising your hands to people is a legitimate and appropriate response to oppression. Now, I just want to point out to everybody who Carlos Maza is, by the way. Just a second here. The whole point of democratic governance is to create an alternative of raising your hands. When the government is no longer democratic, you're supposed to go back to Plan A, says a multi-millionaire. This is a child of a multi who has never worked a day in their life. Also here calling for that. And we see, New York Post, YouTube socialist Carlos Maza slams the wealthy, but lived his entire life in the lap of luxury. Through his clan, the Millennial Firebrand is connected to multiple Florida mega mansions, a $7.1 million pad on the Upper West Side purchased under an LLC, a yacht by luxury boat maker Donzi. His mother, Vivian Maza, was one of the first employees at Ultimate Software, a Florida-based behemoth that now employs 5,000 people. Starting in 1990 as an office manager, she ultimately rose to become the group's chief people officer in 2004. In addition to her day job, Vivian Maza also developed a very close personal relationship with company founder Scott Schur, so close that an independent assessment of the company in 2016 cited the relationship as a corporate governance concern. Public records also show Vivian, Scott, and Carlos and her sister Isabel all registered to vote at a 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom waterfront palace in Boca Raton, Florida. The property sold in 2018 for $10.8 million. According to Zillow, Schur also unloaded a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home in West Florida for $1.885 million back in 2015. This is a child of a exceedingly rich human being who has never worked for anything. And also, you see a lot of this. I don't know if this is bots or what's going on. I would say it's bots if I didn't have like DMs that Dankula were getting. Every member of the Supreme Court who just allowed this to be overturned should be pulled out of their chambers, and I'm not going to even read that. This isn't hyperbole. Take them down and end their lives, essentially. They failed us. They failed everyone we know. Burn their homes down. Most of these tweets are still live. Here's AJ IndyCat30. Doesn't the N-word realize his rights are next? And this is how pissed off I am. Drop the N-word and people react. I'm not racist either. I'm just making a point. Oh, okay. Of course, Carlos Maza, multi-millionaire child, trust fund baby, is out here And by the way, this tweet is still live. It's absolutely still live. And Twitter is absolutely full of this stuff. Videos. Fringe groups on the right and left issue calls to take up arms on Friday in a sign of escalating tensions. I don't even understand what people are taking to the streets for. It's done and dusted. I mean, you could disagree with it, and stuff like that. But I'm not sure what doing all this really is. You see Elijah Schaefer point out, cool, calling for mass bad behavior. Good to know. All this stuff is totally fine on Twitter. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of direct calls for insane behavior. You see, the Babylon Bee can't tweet, but they allow calls for horrible things and trend attacks on Clarence Thomas based on his race. Twitter allows a straight up racist claims on Clarence Thomas to trend. Here's trending Uncle Clarence. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The trending list is manually curated, and so they allow that to happen. There's AJ with the N-word. Voting doesn't work. Raising your hands is a legitimate way of protecting our communities. Minnesota uprising. All these tweets are still live. Jonathan Katz, verified Twitter user. As they say in Haiti, constitutions are made of paper, bayonets are made of steel. I mean, are you going to get out there in the streets, be somebody, be an hero? Again, all of this is fine on Twitter. So, you see the Taylor Lorenz syndrome. Here's Carlos Maza saying, they published a home address too. Unbelievable. F the New York Post and every ghoul who works there. This is him after getting exposed as being a multimillionaire trust fund baby. And there he is retweeting the home address, only slightly obfuscated, of Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, does Twitter want me to believe that they have any kind of semblance of whatsoever of morals and fair enforcement of their own rules? Absolutely disgusting. I hope you enjoyed this video, though. And along with it, hopefully remember, I'm not saying to buy anything, although I think you'd love it. If you just read the reviews, you'll know my coffee, tea, and cocoa are amazing. But if you can, make sure you leave a review today, especially for the teas, which are a new product. Some of these products, we only have 1 or 2 reviews in, so definitely need more. Hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you again real soon.